Hello, my friends. Maggie here. Welcome to my channel today. This is Saturday afternoon for me, and this will be Monday's video. And normally on Monday I do a masterboard, but I've got quite a few masterboards. I even have a couple of fabric ones. So in lieu of that, I'm going to work on my little golden book. I just feel like I need to spend some extra time on this and maybe get her finished up. So before I do that though, before I start, I do want to give some shout outs to some of my wonderful viewers and subscribers who have left comments for me. I always appreciate, love them so much. Susan, Sarcastically 60 something, Selena, Linda, Christina, Gwen, Sarah, Pamela, Crafty, Kitty Vintage, and her name is Leanne. Leanne, Crafty Kitty Vintage, and I think she might be a new subscriber. And if you are, Leanne, then thank you so very much. I send hugs to you. Leanne, Tammy, and Audrey, thank you all for subscribing. You know, I've told you many times now how much your comments mean to me, and they continue to do so. I do have a couple of more new subscribers. I don't know their names though. So I want to welcome you to my channel and thank you so very much. And you know, I hope that you enjoy the videos and will stay around. And to all of my subscribers, I send you lots of hugs and love. Okay. So we left off in Pippi Longstockings. I was trying to make a decision about this front cover, and I have to admit I have not fully made it yet. I did just use my glue stick to glue this fabric down to the cardboard, and it has stuck really well. The problem is those little splotches are showing through. The back side did I use my Fabri-Tac? My glue stick on that? I think I did, and it's sticking really well too, but the back doesn't look as bad. And I think what I'm going to do is just put that white lace down here. I think that doesn't distract from it, and it's not too foo-foo. So I believe that's what I'm going to do. I also want to try to get some tags made today with Pippi. I need to cut her dress out here, and I'm going to make a couple of tags with her. Hopefully I can get that done today. The other thing I want to do, I've been wanting to do so badly, and I decided I'm going to just go ahead and do it in this journal, is I want to make a little basket weave on a page, and then I'll put an image on it. I want to find a page that's not necessarily a page that can be written on. Maybe this one, although that could be written on. Almost all of these pages can be written on either in the front or the back. But I'm looking for well, you know, I think I'm just going to do it onto here. But I'm not going to make it on here. I'm going to just make it on a base of cardstock, which I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to cut Pippi off from this so I can use the rest of this. I made like 3 or 4 copies of this little image, so I had to resize it, of course, but that's fine. To make some tags out of. And let's see, how big is this piece? I hope everybody's doing good today. I'm doing well. I know I didn't feel well yesterday when I was filming one of my videos. It's about 5 by 7. I wasn't feeling well, and I kind of got off the video a little bit early. And I did not end up with a headache. I'm feeling just fine. I mean, I did fight it off. It was not, let's go 7 inches first. It definitely was threatening to hit me, but it never did. So I was very, very happy about that. So I'm doing good today. I was planning on doing my video I had my Saturday kind of planned out. I've got to take my little dog to the vet later this afternoon, and I had a couple of other tasks I needed to do, but when my daughter called me and asked me, could I please watch the baby, because she was on call today. She's a hospice nurse, and she was on call, and she got a call about an injured patient. So it was a patient that fell and had an injury. That might be the best way to put it. And Daddy was working, so she asked me if I would mind. And I said in the beginning I would drop whatever I was doing to help out and to watch her. So we had a lovely time together, her and I. She finally fell asleep in my lap, in my arms. And after she played for a while, and you know, all the wonderful things that babies do. Okay, now I know that some of these are way too long, but I can just cut it off as we go. I'm just going to lay a few down, and then I'll start weaving some. And they're different lengths and all kinds of different patterns. Some of these are going to be too short, I'm afraid. So I'm just going to kind of work with what I've got, and then if I end up needing more strips, then I'll cut some, but hopefully that won't be needed. Okay, so I'm going to just take some now, and this is too short, and start weaving them in. Oops. All right, now I'm doing this. I'm making this much too hard on myself. There's no need for this. All right, let me just start this again. Let me just make this a little bit easier on myself. Some of these are scraps from journals that I made quite a while ago. Oh, this is doubled. Move up a little bit. So I hope you all are enjoying your weekend. By the time you see this video, it will already have been done and over with. Sorry to say, for a lot of you who work, you know, who have to go back to work on Monday. Although most of the time before I retired, most of the time when I was off a weekend, and you know, nurses, they kind of rotate weekends and do all that stuff. Most of the time I was quite happy to go back to work when it was my when my weekend was up, or my number of days off, because sometimes most of the time we worked every other weekend, and then depending on our schedule, we would have days off in between, you know, like 2 or 3 days. And I was always kind of glad to go back to work. I enjoyed my work a lot. There was times when it was really stressful, and a good bit of the time it could be very stressful, depending on the you know, the amount of babies that we had and how sick they were, because some of those little ones could be very, very sick. So this is another one of those activities. Again, just I remember doing this as a kid. I don't remember what I did with it. You know, I don't remember if I was making something but I do remember doing this. And I think I did this one other time for a page in my glue book, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I think that it's fun. And I think in the Pippi journal it's fun because she's just that kind of gal. She's not afraid of different colors and different patterns, and I like that about Miss Pippi. She's a fun sort of person. Well, maybe I should have did this off camera, I don't know. But I decided to do it like this, so indulge me and be kind. So I'm having fun with some of these new collabs that I've hooked into. The Flip Through Friday, that's an easy, fun one. If you're interested in that, it's just hashtag Flip Through Friday, and it's being hosted by Gwen from Gwen the Trash Witch, and it's just a very easy collab. You just have to bring whatever you might have that maybe it's a journal you've made, or a book that you've purchased, or a book that you borrowed that you find interesting and feel that other people would be interested in it as well. There's no prompts, there's no making anything. It's just easy and fun to do, and can be pretty quick or can take a little bit longer depending on what you're sharing. So that's fun. I forgot about it when Friday came, but then I watched one of my one lady, Susan Gazaway, that I love her channel, and I've been watching her videos, and she was doing her Flip Through Friday, and I said, oh, I was gonna do that. I totally forgot. So I got on and made a video and enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. And then there's the 3 under 30. That's making 3 pieces of ephemera in under 30 minutes, which is a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm not the fastest, as you've probably come to recognize and realize. So that's been fun, and it kind of is helping me to not oh, what's the word I want? Not overthink things, because for me to make things, 3 things in less than 30 minutes, I cannot be overthinking them and worrying about exactly how I'm going to decorate something. You know, you just kind of have to just make a decision and go with it. I'm really liking that a lot. It's really good for me because I am on the slow side. I don't know, do I have enough? I may have enough here. I don't want a humongous, right? Just gotta get everything evened out and snugged up to each other. That should go under here. Make sure I got everything going in the right direction. Try to square them up a little bit. Come on, guys, work with me. Gonna move on to something else here. You're not the only one. So yeah, my little sweetheart, she played and she fussed a little. She ate some of the food her mama sent up with her, some applesauce and yogurt and bananas, I think. And she didn't want any more. She was tired when her mother brought her up. She said she woke up too early. And sure enough, after about an hour or so, I'm not sure how long it was. I never keep track of the time. She was sleeping. She was out in my arms, which is the best place. Which is absolutely the best place. I loved every minute that I spent with her. I always do, of course. Alright, so I don't know, what do you think? Do I have enough here? I think maybe I do. Probably gonna go a little bigger. It's not gonna fill up that whole sheet, but I don't really intend for it to. And then I want to put an image on here. I'm not sure what image just yet. Probably as lopsided as I'll get out. I can't really tell from the angle that I'm sitting at. Oh, my dear little girlie. Now I am pray and hope that he can give her some medicine that will help her. Okay, I think that might be enough. I think. Whoops. Just dropped all my strips. All right. Oh, but somewhat straight. I can't tell. I'm just going to go through and put a dot of glue. And then I can kind of cut it down. Nellie, it's okay. I feel so bad for that little dog coughing like that. We have had some wonderful pets in our family. And if you're a pet owner, you know how sad it is when you lose one. And I don't think that's what's going to happen to Nellie, at least not yet. She is a very, I want to say very older dog. She is an older dog for sure. Like I've said, I don't know how old she is because we rescued her in it was a very nice rescue place where we got her from. They rescued her actually from a no-kill shelter in Northern California, and but they didn't have any information on her other than she belonged to an elderly lady that passed away. Oh dear, I'm all messed up here. She passed away, and her son just decided to take the dog. She had 2 dogs. She had my little Pomeranian and the little Maltese. And we actually ended up taking them both. And my daughter took the Maltese and I took the Pomeranian. But like I said, we have no idea how either one of them are. We think that Nellie might be the oldest. But they're both up there. I mean, they really are. That one was a wackadoodle. It was going the right. I hope the rest of these are going the right direction. I'm sorry, this is probably just taking way too long, but it's something I wanted to put in my journal, so hey, it's my journal. I hope it's not too boring for you. I know it's kind of boring. So, like I said, if you can just indulge me, I would really appreciate it. Once I get this side done, I'm going to flip it over and do the other side, and then I can trim it down. World. Oh, no glue came out. That's what was wrong. Okay. All right, so there we go. Now, trim her off. So there's not too much to trim. I don't necessarily want them all the same length, but I don't want them this long either. Keep the longer pieces. But not the shorter ones. Too many scraps as it is. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go back. Is that page? I'm going to glue this down on here. And then I would like I could do this image. Well, I don't know. I am glad I copied the pages so that I could use them this way. I think I'll cut out Pippi. I'm going to be honest, I'm not doing the best job with this. I'm just doing the best I can just to get it cut out. Oops. I need the smaller scissors. Pippi can obviously cook. She's cooking eggs. You know, I was married for many, many, many years, and even though I dislike eggs very much, my husband loved eggs, and he ate them almost every morning. Not every single morning, but he ate them, I'd say 80% of the time. And I never learned to cook a decent egg. Now, I must have cooked them for him at one point in time, and maybe he was just too kind to tell me how awful they were. But the longer we were married, the more vocal he got about his likes and dislikes, and he admitted that I was a very good cook, but when it came to cooking eggs, I just did not know what in the world I was doing. We had a restaurant. Oh, my oldest daughter was about 5 years old. It wasn't a restaurant. It was a little coffee shop, and one of the buildings, office buildings in the city we lived in, which was Saginaw. So a lot of the people from the offices and the banks and some of the stores, you know, it was still a nice downtown. They come there to eat breakfast. And we would bring our little girl with us, and she had her blanket. She had a blankie that she took with her just about everywhere, and she would sit at the counter, and we would make her something to eat. And then the customers would start coming, and oh my gosh, that first day, we didn't have a clue what to expect. And they came in and started asking for these eggs, like, can we have poached egg? Can I have two poached eggs? And neither one of us had a clue how to cook a poached egg. And we were standing back in the little tiny kitchen, little galley kitchen. You know, nobody could really see us back there because it was kind of hidden from the customers unless you were standing in the right place. And we were like, what are we gonna do? We don't know how to make a poached egg. And the man, he was our first customer, and I can't remember his name, but oh, he was a nice man. He was a very nice man. I think he may have worked at one of the banks, because there was like 3 or 4 banks right downtown, 2 of which I had worked at in previous years. And he was so nice. He said, you guys having a little trouble? Because he knew it was our first day. And we said yes. He said, we don't know how to cook poached eggs. And he said, oh, come on, let me show you. So he showed us how to make poached eggs. Well, there were other egg dishes, you know, that we learned along the way, but I never became a good. I could not prepare eggs very well at all. My husband was never satisfied with them. And, but this man, finally we ended up giving him a key to the door. He would let himself in if he got there before us, because, you know, we had a young daughter. And so he would turn on the lights and bring in the donuts, because the delivery person left the donuts at the door. And he'd bring them in and get the coffee going. I can't believe, now thinking about this and looking back on it, that we actually bought that coffee shop. I don't know what in the world we were thinking. Neither one of us had a bit of restaurant experience, except I was a waitress, you know, at one point, and I worked in a donut shop when I was in high school, in a taco stand. But we didn't know anything about running a restaurant. The first thing my husband did, because he was admittedly on the greedy side, and both of my daughters will tell you the same thing, and I'm not saying that in a mean way. He just wanted to make a buck. He raised all the prices on everything, and he raised them a lot. I kept telling David, don't do that. We don't know what we're doing to begin with, and you want to raise the prices? Oh my goodness. And at lunchtime, we were very busy because we really did have good hot dogs. The guy that owned it before us, he showed us how he made his hot dogs. Not hot dogs, hamburgers, I mean. And they were very, very good hamburgers. And we always made a bunch of them up because it looks like she doesn't have any legs. Maybe I should cut her legs off. That kind of looks kind of funny. I don't know whether I should cut her legs off or not. I think that looks funny. What happens if I pull them up? Maybe that looks a little bit better. I think the legs sticking out there look awfully funny. And so we made a lot of hot dogs. We sold a lot of hot dogs every day. But my husband had raised the prices, and even though he raised the prices, we still had customers. But he went back to truck driving after we had the restaurant for several months, and I was there kind of on my own a good deal of the time, which I was not happy about. But it's the way it was, and so as soon as he was gone, I lowered all the prices back to just about what they were. I don't think, I may have left them up a little bit, but yeah. And when he found out I did that, he wasn't happy, but I'm gonna reinforce this somehow. This is just gonna be flopping around. I think I'm gonna reinforce her whole arm. I'm just gonna trace around it. Not gonna be perfect, guys. So we had this restaurant, and on Saturdays there was a movie theater in town, an older movie theater that had been there for years and years. And on Saturdays they had, they showed movies, and it was cheap to get in. It was like much cheaper than going to the, well, I don't even know if that, at that point, if we had like a, like a big theater or not. So we would go there and we would take our leftover hamburgers, because on Saturdays we usually had some left over. And we would take them with our daughter. Look at me, I've been on here more than a half an hour and I've done nothing. We'd take our daughter to the movies with a bag of hot dogs and a bag of French fries from our restaurant. And we would sit and enjoy the movie until, because you could just stay, once you paid you could stay. And so we sat and watched the movies until we were ready to go home, until we had enough hamburgers and we were ready to go home. I think I need to trim this a little bit. So that was an interesting time in our life. And then the summer, I think it was the summer that Elvis Presley died. He came to do a concert at the Civic Center there in our town, which was just, you had, when you parked, there was a big parking ramp, and when you parked there, you had to walk right by our little coffee shop, and we normally close like at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But when we found out about the Elvis Presley concert, and we cooked up a whole bunch of hamburgers. When we found out about the Elvis Presley concert, we said, heck, we better stay open. And And so we did. And people packed that place. And of course they were in such a good mood. You know how it is before you go to a concert. You're all happy and hyped up and everything. Well, they were so happy to be going to a Elvis Presley concert. And here this little coffee shop was open and we were selling hamburgers. And then we ran out of hamburgers. Oh my goodness. We made a lot of money that day. That was the only time we made any money. And we ended up, after time went by, a couple more months, I guess, because it was not my cup of tea at all. I hadn't gone to nursing school yet, so I wasn't a nurse yet. All right, this is gonna work. I hadn't gone to nursing school yet. And I'm sure I had a job because I was always working. I always had a job. And so that's why we were at the restaurant. Maybe I decided, well, I'm not going to go to work right now. Maybe I was between jobs or something. I don't remember now. But we decided to buy this coffee shop. But after a few months of running it, not making any money, not having any idea what in the world we were doing, the man missed it that we bought it from. He missed it and wanted it back. So I said, oh yeah, man, you can have it back. And I don't even think I don't know, I don't think we made any money on giving it back, selling it back to him. I think it was a pretty even exchange. But that Elvis concert really was the best. My husband and I weren't concert goers. He definitely was not into that sort of thing. So it never occurred to us to go to the Elvis concert. I don't even think we realized it was going to be there until some of our customers told us earlier in the day. And so we decided, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay open. And we're going to sell hamburgers. And we're going to make us some money. But it was so much fun because the customers were all just in high spirits. And they weren't critical of anything. I mean, they were just happy to be going to that concert. And happy that they could get a bite to eat, I guess. But it was so much fun. That particular day, it wasn't typically a fun thing. At least I didn't think so. We did have some very nice customers who I really enjoyed a lot. And were wonderful people. But, yeah, we were not restaurateurs. Is that how you say that? But we gave it a try. We did give it a try. That was our nature. Both of us, we were willing to try. But yeah, we were so fortunate that their man wanted the restaurant back, because if he hadn't, well, we would have just had to close it up because we weren't making any money. And yeah, it just, he was back on the road, driving, and I certainly did not want to run a restaurant on my own. And not really a restaurant, but a coffee shop. Oh my word, I'm gonna get my other glue ball, and I lost my one little topper. Now what do I do with this one? A little white one. Oh well, I'll look for it. Hopefully it's just buried here. So I think this is a fun little page. It took me much longer than I thought it would, but again, I talked too much. So as you can imagine, my husband and I've said before, we had some adventures. They weren't all pleasant adventures or the most fun, or didn't turn out the greatest, but we had them. And oh dear, I don't want to put glue on this part. I don't want to do that. We had them, we learned from them, and you know, really, whoops, and really, what more could you ask for? So I'm gonna let this dry because that glue is sticky. So I think that's kind of a cute page. What do you think? A little unexpected, I guess. Now I could have probably made this a tuck spot or something, but we may have ourselves enough. There it is. We may have ourselves enough pockets and tuck spots. You know, I'm not the biggest on them, so as long as we have what we need in here. As much as I hated to do it, I hated amputating our little legs, but I do think it looks much better like that. All right, so I have this out. I just need to cut around it real quick as I can. I'm sorry, everybody, that took so long. But that's my restaurant story. It was an adventure in and of itself. And we had many after that. Yeah, but if you can imagine, my husband raising all the prices. Oh, and one of the best pies we served was Boston cream pie. Everybody loved that. We didn't make it, of course. It came, I don't even think it came from a bakery. I can't remember now where we got it from. But boy, it was a good, we had others, but this was really, it was my favorite. I loved it. I love anything with that creamy kind of custard in it. But yeah, we did have some fun with it. It wasn't all horrible. It was not all horrible. It just was what it was. It was an experience. It was an adventure, like I said, in and of itself. Like I said, my oldest daughter was about 5. She might have even been 4 at that time. And my sister-in-law would come and pick her up from the restaurant and take her to school for us. And then she would pick her up. Yeah, she was either in preschool or kindergarten because his sister would pick her up and bring her back to the restaurant and then sometimes help out. And sometimes if we were in a real pinch, like if we were really busy, because it was just my husband and I. It seems like we did have somebody else. We had a waitress, I'm pretty sure. But if we were busy, she would come and help us out. And as it turned out, a few years later, her and the other sister, well, how come this doesn't fit right? Probably because I cut too much of it off. They opened up their own restaurant. It was a brand new restaurant. It wasn't one that was there. It was they converted it. I think it was an office. It was right on a main street. And it was called, well, it was a little Mexican restaurant. And they named it after their father. They did really well with it too. They had good business. There was a lot of car traffic that went by there. And the food was excellent. The food was absolutely excellent. His eldest sister also had a Mexican restaurant that her and her husband and the kids helped run, and then when they both passed away, the youngest daughter took it over. And she ran it successfully for a number of years, and then I think it just got to be too much for her, and she couldn't really keep up with it anymore. So here's a different look on Pippi. And I'm going to make her into a tag. I'm going to have to go through all my words, because I do have a bunch of them. And I'm going to have to find some appropriate either sayings or whatever to go with Pippi. So I think I'm going to put her on this tag. In her little granny dress with the patchwork pockets. I mean, what else would you expect but patchwork pockets? Whoops. Let me put it over here. Let's see if I can find a little butterfly. I have any little ones in here. I may have to go to a sticker book, but let's do a bag. This is a sticker. Oh, this is a rub-on. I don't know, I think that's a rub-on, but I'm not sure. I don't want to fiddle-faddle with it, since I don't know. Oh, Maggie. You guys, I'm sorry again. This video is just like way too long for what I accomplished. But I'm happy with what I accomplished. I'm pretty sure there's a rub-on. Here I am still fiddling with it. Alright, let me see what I got down here. In the old mystery drawer. Surely I've got a little butterfly in one of these. So I hope you like this video. I know it's kind of long for what I did. But I think what I did was fun. Here's a little butterfly. A couple of little ones up here. I think it was fun, and we get some things going. You know, we made 2 pieces. So I put this away afterwards. Let me just see. I think there might be a place back here for this tag. I think I'll take this one out. Put this one in here. All right, and it needs to be finished. I know it needs to be inked up, and I need to put an eyelet there. So, all right, everyone, I am going to get off of here for now. I really wanted to accomplish more. The basket weave took a little bit longer than I thought it would. So, but I hope you like what we did. This is very, very busy. I know, but Pippi is busy. I think I'll back this with something. Just take away from the white. Maybe I can just put some ink on it. So I'm going to get off of here. Please, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't. And leave me a comment, please. I would appreciate it so much. And I'm going to leave you with a verse from God's Word, or actually 2. And lo, I am with you always, Matthew 18:20. And the righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, Psalms 34:17. All right, everyone, remember I love you. I pray for you every day, or do my very best to. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I am sorry that it took so long, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to spend an extra day on it. I really don't want to drag it on forever, and because I'm not working on it every single day, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's okay because I'm enjoying making it. And I hope you're enjoying watching me, even if it's taking forever. So, anyway. All right, everyone. I'm going to go. Bye-bye. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.